Hello, my name is Renee Garza, and today I'll be discussing a multi-state outbreak of Salmonella Agona that was linked to the unsweetened puffed rice and puffed wheat cereal, specifically a product distributed by my oatmeal. In this presentation, I'll go over how the outbreak was detected, how the source was confirmed, the response and actions taken, and what public health agencies learned from this incident. First, a little background about Salmonella. Salmonella is a bacterium that commonly causes foodborne illness. It spreads through contaminated food, water, animals, or surfaces. Symptoms often include diarrhea, stomach cramps, fever, or nausea. Most people recover within a week, but some individuals are at greater risk of severe infections. Infants, older adults, and people with weakened immune systems can develop severe dehydration or complications requiring hospitalization. Because of this, early recognition of outbreaks is critical to prevent serious illness. In this outbreak, there were 28 confirmed cases across 15 U.S. states. Patients' ages ranged from 4 months old to 95 years old, with a median age of 65. This wide range tells us that the contaminated cereal was widely consumed and often kept in households across different generations. 8 people were hospitalized, but fortunately there were no reported deaths. Even though the number of cases may seem relatively small, the potential impact was high because cereal is a staple food that many people eat daily. To determine the source, public health officials use PulseNet, which is the national laboratory network that compares DNA fingerprints of bacteria collected from sick patients. The same strain of Salmonella Agona was found in multiple patients. Matching bacterial fingerprints were later detected in unopened cereal packages and inside the manufacturing plant where the cereal was produced. Investigators also interviewed sick individuals, and many of them reported eating the same cereal brand before getting sick. There were a few challenges that made the outbreak more complicated. First, cereal has a long shelf life. Even after people started getting sick, the product was still sitting in household pantries, which increased the risk of a continued exposure. Second, the cereal looked and smelled normal, so consumers had no reason to suspect anything was wrong. Finally, awareness was low at first, meaning many families continued eating the product without knowing about the risk. To address this issue, health officials considered several response options. One option was to recall the cereal, another was to issue a public health advisory warning consumers. A third step would involve removing the product from stores. However, doing only one of these things wouldn't have been enough. A recall would not help if people didn't know about it, and removing products from shelves would not help if families still had the cereal stored at home. So the chosen approach was a combination strategy, a recall paired with a strong consumer advisory. Mount Oatmeal issued a voluntary recall on April 5th of 2008. Consumers were instructed to check for specific best if used by dates ranging from April 8th of 2008 to March 29 of 2009. Public health agencies emphasized throwing the product away rather than donating it or storing it to ensure no one else would be exposed. Short-term actions included notifying retailers, removing products from shelves, and issuing clear public announcements through CDC and FDA. Long-term actions focus on prevention. These including improving routine safety testing during food processing and strengthening surveillance systems so that future outbreaks could be detected more quickly. This case also highlighted the importance of communication between health agencies, companies, and consumers. The outbreak ended with no deaths, and the recall successfully prevented additional cases. The biggest takeaway is that early testing and rapid public communications are essential. Identifying a contaminated product early and acting quickly saves lives and prevents the spread of illness, especially when the product is something commonly eaten and the stored long term.